Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. This is more of a diagnostic lesson. As Dave Buddha, let me just make this a little bigger for you guys to see. As Dave Buddha is struggling to, I don't know how many other users on lesson number 35. He's struggling to, my delete function is giving me a success report, but not deleting the file. It actually moves to the top like it has been updated. All right. So all that does is actually it goes and it refreshes the browser and redirects it. But I want to show you how to actually diagnose it and how to actually see if you actually delete it. All right. So this is just a diagnostic. So we are only going to diagnose, show you the steps that I will take to find out where the problem might be. Right, so in this case, I'm in Maya's, one of her threads. If I click a delete right here, obviously the thread will pop up, and then I will press the delete thread and it will actually delete it for me right here. But I want to show you how to go through the whole process to make sure and find out where the problem might be. All right, let's start with the obvious. Let's go to our Livewire component because our Livewire component is actually responsible for deleting a thread. So let's go there. All right, so now I'm inside my Livewire delete thread component. In order to get there, you go to app, HTTP, Livewire, thread, and you'll have your delete right there. So we're inside there right there. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is just to make sure that I'm actually getting, if I press the delete button, I actually get to the thread part right here. Okay, so I'm just going to put it working. But I'm just doing, this is just unnecessary for Dave's problem because he's actually going through the whole process. He's showing that the session is flashing and it actually shows that it redirects. Okay. But I want to just go from start to finish through the whole component itself. Then I'm actually just want to open the thread view of the components view right here. Okay. Now, the second thing that I would do, I got the button, just a down dump, just to make sure that it is working. The second thing that I would do, on my delete thread button right here, this button right here is, let's go to the browser quickly, is not this button, it's this button right here, this delete thread. Just to make sure, just to convince you that this button is the same as this one right here. I'm just going to change it to put the 4 S's at the back, or let's just put 1X at the back. Okay, let's go back to the browser and let's refresh. Press delete. You can see the X right there. So we know it's coming from there. Okay, so if I press this delete button in my component right here, okay, so I'm just going to remove the X again. All right, you see this wire click right here. Make sure that this delete, this method wire click, is the same as the method name right here. Because, you know, I do even spelling mistakes sometimes because my mind is so occupied with the code, sometimes forget to check the spelling as well. But if you just want to make sure, just select the whole method, okay, copy it, go to your wire click and paste it in there like this, just to make sure. All right. The next thing is, because we know this for Dave, all of this is working. So I know it's working for him, but I'm just going through the process. All right. So we know that method and this method is the same. Now I'm actually going to press the delete button and see if we actually get this response right here. Okay, so let's go. All right. So I'm going to press the delete button and I need to, as you can see, we get that working right there. So we know we're actually getting the right method. Right. The next thing that I want to do in our code editor, I want to move the down dump just underneath the authorization. Right, just to make sure that this actually goes through and we're actually getting to the thread. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to down dump this thread. Now the reason for why I'm down dumping the thread is because I want to make sure that I get the right thread right here as well. So I'm doing two things. I want to see if I pass the authorization, if we actually get past this method, all right, this check right here. Then once we pass that, I want to make sure that we're actually getting the right thread, because we're going to require this to the right thread in order to delete the right one. Right, so I'm going to do just down dump it. Okay, so let's go back. Right, so in our browser, if I press the delete, I'm supposed to see the right one. As you can see, I'm getting the thread right there. And just to show you, as you can see, let me just cancel that for now. As you can see, we get the ST. This is in Latin, so I don't even know how to pronounce it. So you can see the name right there. So if I press the delete again, we need to get the same thing. Now, as you can see, we get the exact same title right there. Right, so we're getting the thread. All right, so we know we're getting the right thread. If you don't get that, all right, so if it shows you, for instance, if this is showing for you null, it means it didn't get a thread at all. It means something is wrong, okay? But in order to diagnose where the null is coming from, let's go back to my code editor again. Right, in this case, I'm just dumping null. So obviously mine worked because I make sure that I get the right thread. Now, this thread right here is coming from our Livewire components where we actually, let's go, let me show you, otherwise it might not make sense. Go to resources, views, pages, threads, dot show. Okay. Now, in your show method, you will see we have our delete button right there. Okay. Right. Now, the delete button is got a colon, thread, and the thread right here because we're passing the thread variable right here. So if you just added, let me just cut this out quickly. If you added just the thread delete like this, Livewire don't know where the thread is coming from. So just make sure you pass the thread right there. But make sure you add the colons in the front because now Livewire will not treat this as a variable. Livewire will treat it as a string. Just make sure that you add the double colon, the colon in the front right there. All right, and then you obviously add another part is you add the thread, the key right there. For that way, Livewire just track of the, just to track the component. Okay, so just make sure, as you can see, the same thing we're doing with the reply right there. But you see now that's another component right here, and Livewire there's another component right here. Just make sure, because Livewire is just going to keep track of the component, just add the key right there, the thread key and the thread right there. But just make sure you add the columns in front. All right. So that's the way we actually get from here. We get the thread, it go to the component right here. Now this and the thread component right here is now automatically binded together. Okay. Now the next part that I would do, since I know I'm getting the right thread, okay, then I run through the process and I actually can just add another dump here, and I will just say thread deleted, but that doesn't matter because we're getting a session flash. And just make sure, all right, now that this is the last part, okay, just make sure the route that you're redirecting to, because redirect to a route, and the route is the threads.index. Let's just open our web route quickly. Now, in our threads, you will see that's the first one where all our threads are basically inside. Okay, just make sure that you're redirecting to the right route, and that's it. Don't redirect back, because if you do that, there's no thread to redirect back to. Okay, because what Laravel will do, sorry for that tongue twister right there, what Laravel will do, it will actually just redirect you back to, in this case, Livewire, just to the last known URL. And the last known URL was obviously the threads.show, and that doesn't exist anymore. So don't do that. Just redirect to the route threads.index. Okay. I don't know if this will help anybody, but hopefully you learned something from this. Yes, let me see if I delete it, if it works now. All right, so let me delete it. As you can see, it redirects to the front and it shows thread deleted. Okay, all good. Thank you guys for watching. This was just a diagnostic kind of video, just to diagnose how do you actually go through the whole process to make sure where the problem might be. I don't know your code, I don't see the code, but hopefully this helps somebody. Thank you guys for watching, And please consider subscribing to the channel, as this will help us quite a lot. In a sense, where YouTube might think that our channel provides worthy enough content to be shown to others. All right, thank you guys for watching, and if you like the video, please give it a like. If you don't like the video, please give it a dislike. And as always, see you in the next one, and stay safe. Goodbye. Adios.